far-left radicals causing more headaches for the Democrats. This time, it's a wealth tax that's forcing well-off Californians to get the heck out of Dodge. Gavin Newsom says he opposes it, but Bernie just went on Gavin's turf to rally the troops against the rich.
Do you know what the most significant addiction crisis in America is today? It is the greed of the billionaire class. Right here in California. These billionaires are going to learn that we are still living in a democratic society where the people have some power.
And here in New York City, Mayor Zohran Mamdani is threatening to punish the middle class if New York Governor Kathy Hochul does not submit to his socialist tax hike.
The only option we have remaining is the second path. At the heart of this path is a property tax increase. This would effectively be a tax on working and middle-class New Yorkers. It would mean withdrawing $980 million from our city's rainy day fund in fiscal year 2026 and $229 million from the Retiree Health Benefit Trust in fiscal year 2027.
Jessica, I know you are no Mamdani fan, but I'm wondering if you're looking forward to the 9.5% property tax increase.
I'm not. I also don't think it'll go through. I think he's going to have pretty significant pushback from a core part of his voters. They call it the commie corridor that runs through Brooklyn, where it's actually people who have millions of dollars, but also feel like they can't get ahead because the city's so unaffordable and it costs a lot to be here, to send your kids to school, et cetera. Those are people who are going to be struck with something like this.
So they're called stupid people because they vote for him and don't like his policies. Or are they hypocrites?
I don't
stupid
know.
Hypocrites.
I don't live in
Choose
Park
one of them.
Slope. But on the wealth tax front, this is a very interesting setup because Newsom is against it. And a lot of high-profile Democrats will be out on the campaign trail talking about it. AOC, Bernie Sanders is going to run for president again, but obviously doing that. The data, though, just does not back up that this works. So many European countries have tried it and then gotten rid of it. Sweden, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Finland. If you want to tax specific asset classes, that's one thing. But this idea of a general wealth tax is going to make you not only lose a ton of tax revenue. I was just out in California having conversations with people who said that there's going to be another round of flight if it actually goes through. I think it's a mistake.
I think that's very wise. And Dana, I'm sure Governor Gavin Newsom is looking at a Californian leaves every minute and 44 seconds.
Well, the far-left progressives they're more difficult for the regular Democrats to beat than it is for them to beat Republicans at this point. Because Democrats are really highly motivated to vote in the midterms. They've been showing that in all the little special elections that they've won in the last several months. And if I know that the media loves to focus on rifts within the Republican Party, but the debates within the Democratic Party are, to me, much more interesting and of much more consequence. Here you have a guy in his mid-30s who's never run a business, he's never worked in finance, and he's saying that the only option available to him is this tax so that he can give free daycare. That's the only option. I mean, you have access to the smartest financial minds in the world. They are your neighbors. They live here. They're your constituents. You could call them up. You could go see them and say, do I have any other option? Is there any other option that they could put forward? Now, if you're a billionaire or a millionaire or someone who just makes, let's say it's $200,000 a year, and you're looking at all these stories about the fraud, and $9 billion in fraud in Minnesota, we're wondering about the other fraud. There's fraud everywhere. And nobody on the left is saying, let's fix the fraud, and then we can see what else we need to do. Like, we're not even going to try to do that because the only option is to raise taxes on your property owners. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, and
childish.
Tim Walz is asking for more social programs despite the fraud.
I'm going to give the billionaires some advice.
Oh, wow.
Because the wealth gap's the widest it's been since the roaring 20s, which Greg remembers was a lot of fun. And what happens, you have a great, great time, and then the market tanks, and then the politicians punish successful people, like FDR. So you got to get out ahead of this. And you got to employ the bread and circuses strategy. that they used to do in the ancient Roman times, when wealthy emperors used to just throw lavish banquets and festivals and make the gladiators fight. So you feed and entertain the public in order to show how generous you are and maintain the social order. So if you're a billionaire in California, before the peasants start storming the castle, how about this? How about you buy everybody there a $1 value meal at McDonald's? How about you do an Oprah? Free cars! How about you buy maybe everybody at Skid Row a one-way ticket to Thailand? That also gets them out of town. Or make the homeless people in Skid Row fight like gladiators. Entertain us. Do something big and bold. Big and bold we're going for. Not necessarily that idea, but other ideas like that.
What did you read while you were away?
Nothing.
Yeah, there was a lot there, but my takeaway was if you were alive during the Roaring 20s, you're roughly a century old, Greg.
No, you meant the Roaring 2020s.
Oh, got it.
I'm always troubled by why the woke don't call their policies what they are. That is not a tax. It's just a confiscation because no gains are being realized. So that is not a tax. It's a linguistic deception. It's like calling three people who hate each other Fox and Friends. Never understood that. There's no interest. He has no interest in the answers that you like. Why isn't he talking to people? Because he's not in charge. He was picked to enact some radical policies by the same people who are running all the corruption. He's just another puppet. I don't think you can get a clearer contrast. What is the first thing a Republican does when he's in office? He deregulates. He frees up capital. He gets businesses going. He'll fund the police. What is the first thing a Dem does, besides moving out of their parents' house? Raise taxes. It's not cut fraud. It's not, look at waste or abuse. It's raise taxes, which only incentivizes more waste, fraud, and abuse. The point is, corrupt enterprises, they're not designed to reduce their corruption or their enterprise. It's, the mob doesn't decide to go into actual sanitation. They're never going to change. Democrats are never going to change. They are, and Jessica, can't believe you don't know this. They are the party of corruption. We're seeing it now. Billions and trillions of dollars that are being taken out of the government into these fake businesses. You have these weird puppets from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris to Mayor, that they have no experience, no intellect, but they're just here to do whatever. I don't know what dark forces are running your party, but there's something sick going on, and you need to be aware of it.
Okay, a couple of things. One, the head of your party and the president of the United States
is the greatest
family
president
has made
ever.
$4 billion since coming into office.
That's not from me. That's not from me. It's not being stolen from me.
Yes,
your party steals from us. Your party steals our tax money.
Yeah.
He's never taken money from me. I'm okay. If he wants to make Bitcoin money, I don't even know what that is.
Well, that's not a good defense for it. And listening to
he's not robbing. He's not going through my wallet, Jessica. You guys are.
That is absolutely not true. And he is using taxpayer money for all of the things that he does. When he flies around and they make backroom deals, when he sends Jared Kushner.
He doesn't take a salary. Has any Democrat ever done that?
$400,000, not $4 billion.
Democrats take my salary, half of my salary.
You just said Dan Lurie was awesome in the first block.
Yes.
So enough with
Shows
the
you I'm fair and balanced, Jessica.
All right, we'll finish in the commercial break.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.